Welcome to the February 10th, 2025 City Council meeting. Thank you for joining us in this hybrid meeting format. Anyone wishing to access the meeting can do so by watching the live stream available on our website, the broadcast on Comcast Channel 21, or by following the access instructions listed for this meeting on the city's public webcasts and meeting materials webpage of the City of Eugene website. Tonight's meeting will include a public comment period. If you wish to speak, and have not already done so, please fill out a request to speak form available on our public webcast and meeting materials webpage, or fill out one of the printed forms available at the entrance to this room. We'll accept requests to speak until 7:35 p.m. These forms will be used to generate the random order of the speakers and to correctly enter speakers' names into the public record. Please note that the public comment period will be limited to 90 minutes total. If the number of speakers approaches or exceeds the time we have allotted for comment, we will encourage speakers to consider abbreviating their remarks so the maximum number of speakers can be heard tonight. For those joining the meeting remotely for the public comment period, you are welcome also to email your comments to council. That is true of anyone giving public comment. As a reminder, the council's meetings rules of conduct include no flags, signs, loud or disruptive language, noise, or conduct that obstructs the business of the council. Please keep the room quiet and respectful for all speakers, and you're of course welcome also to wave your hands in silent support. Additionally, we encourage those who are ill or who have had close contact with others who are ill to join our meeting remotely rather than in person, and we encourage attendees to spread out within the meeting space and have masks available in the lobby if anyone needs one. In case of a medical emergency, an automated external defibrillator, an AED, is located on the counter behind staff on the west side of the room, your left side of the room. And in case of an emergency evacuation, emergency exits are through the double doors at the back of the room, the double doors are at the front, and the doors to the patio can also be used as needed. And with that, I now call the February 10th, 2025 meeting of the Eugene City Council to order. We'll begin with a land acknowledgement. Since time immemorial, the Kalapuya people have been the indigenous stewards to our region, building dynamic communities, maintaining balance with wildlife, and enacting sustainable land practices. This land acknowledgement is a way of resisting the erasure of indigenous histories and to honor Native communities by inviting truth and reconciliation. Following treaties between 1851 and 1855, Kalapuya people were dispossessed of their indigenous homeland by the United States government and forcibly removed to the Coast Reservation in Western Oregon. As we consider the impacts of colonization, we also acknowledge the strength and resiliency of displaced indigenous people. The city of Eugene is built within the traditional homelands known as Kalapuya Alihi. Kalapuya descendants are citizens of the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde Community of Oregon and the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians of Oregon. They continue to make contributions to our communities here and across the lands. We express our respect for the inherent political sovereignty of all federally recognized tribal nations and indigenous people who live in the state of Oregon and across the nation. Our first item on tonight's agenda is ceremonial matters and two proclamations that I've asked our city to prepare, one for Black History Month and one for National Cancer Prevention Month. City proclamations are signed ceremonial documents issued to the public as special honors at the recommendation of the mayor for public awareness, charitable campaigns, or to recognize arts and cultural celebrations. So as mentioned, for February of 2025, I've requested one proclamation acknowledging February as Cancer Prevention Month and another honoring February as Black History Month. In honoring National Cancer Prevention Month in Eugene, important to note that since Congress passed the landmark National Cancer Act in 1971, the United States has made tremendous strides in preventing, detecting, and treating cancer. Though cancer's many forms still cause the death of more than 600,000 Americans every year. Our continued attention to cancer prevention and research is important to both current, potential, and future patients, but also to their loved ones and their families. And it's an honor to acknowledge February as National Cancer Prevention Month in Eugene. Secondly, it is my privilege to celebrate February as Black History Month. President Ford officially recognized Black History Month for the first time in 1976, but America's Black history stretches back several centuries. Black History Month is an annual celebration and recognition of achievements by Black Americans, which we all can learn from. And the 2025 national theme for Black History Month is Celebrating African American Health and Wellness, which we will do in Eugene. These proclamations will be signed and available on the City of Eugene's website, and I will work with community organizations to share them at upcoming events. Thank you to the leaders, researchers, and organizations who help us to learn from our history and also to realize a healthier future for our entire community. And this concludes our first agenda item. Our next item on tonight's agenda are committee reports and items of interest. So I will now open the floor for committee reports or items of interest from the council. Councilors, a reminder to please press the button at the bottom of your microphone stand to unmute or remute yourself when it's time to speak and when you are done. Any items to report? Councilor Zelenka.
Thank you, Mayor. I was in Washington, D.C. last week for work, and the weather caught up to me, and I ended up being in overnight in Phoenix when I wasn't supposed to. I was supposed to be here. But when I'm in towns like that, I usually like to pick up the paper, and this is the local paper. Phoenix and Tempe are sister cities, and this is the Tempe Tribune. And I thought it was very interesting when I opened to the second page. It said, Tempe prepares for new multifamily regulations. Tempe city staff began a year-long process on February 5th of adopting regulations that allow duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes in otherwise areas known for single-family zoning only. Law put into place by Governor Hobbs in the legislature. And then the next page was ministers get warnings for feeding the homeless, and about some ministers that were getting in trouble for not complying with their special event permits by doing a picnic. And I thought, well, it's sort of comforting to know that other cities are dealing with the exact same issues we are, and at the exact same time. So I just thought that was kind of amusing to me.
Any other reports or items of interest from council? Thank you. That concludes our second agenda item. Moving on to our next agenda item, we have our consent calendar and approval of city council minutes.
I move to approve the items on consent calendar 1.
Second. Any discussion from council? Seeing none, we'll now take a vote for this motion. Councilors, please lock in your votes on the tablets in front of you. And that motion passes with a vote of 8-0. Thank you. My tablet just went blank. Thank you. I'm going to ask also, because I didn't mention it at the top, approval of also the city council tentative agenda.
That's part of.
Move approval.
Oh, it's attached. I'm so sorry. Thank
No,
you.
I'm sorry. I had a delay there. That's part of the consent agenda you just.
Yes, consent agenda.
Both are included. Thank you so much, City Attorney and Council President. Then with that, we have concluded our third agenda item. Moving on, I will turn to the City Manager to introduce our fourth agenda item.
Thank you, Mayor. Your fourth agenda item is to deliberate and take action on the proposed withdrawal of annexed properties from special service districts. These withdrawals come before the council on an annual basis. The 2025 batch contains 10 annexations approved by City Council in 2024 for a total of 14 tax lots. Withdrawals are time-sensitive. State law provides that if a withdrawal is not approved prior to March 31, the withdrawal does not become effective until July 1 of the following year, i.e. for 2026 for these properties. Thank you.
Thank you. If there are no questions from council, I will now turn to the council president to put a motion forward.
Move to adopt an ordinance providing for withdrawal of annexed properties from the following special districts: River Road Parks and Recreation District, River Road Water District, Santa Clara Rural Fire Protection District, Santa Clara Water District, Lane Fire Authority, and Junction City Water Control District.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion from council? Seeing none, I will now take a vote for this motion. Councilors, please lock in your votes on your tablets. And that motion passes by a vote of 8-0. Thank you. That concludes our fourth agenda item. We'll now turn to the city manager to introduce our fifth agenda item.
Thank you, Mayor. The fifth item is for council to deliberate and take action on a Metro Plan amendment and refinement plan amendment that would change the land use designation on the subject property to light medium industrial. These amendments are necessary for the applicant's concurrent request to change the zoning of the property from E1 campus employment to E2 mixed-use employment. These changes are requested for the subject property, which is approximately 5 acres and is located on the west side of Old Coburg Road, south of North Game Farm Road, and north of Chad Drive. Thanks.
There are no questions from council. I will now turn to the council president to put a motion forward.
Move to adopt an ordinance amending the Eugene Springfield Metropolitan Area General Plan to change the plan designation of the subject property from campus industrial to light medium industrial, amend the Willikenzie Area Plan to change the refinement plan's designation of the subject property from campus industrial to light medium industrial, and change the base zone of the subject property from E1 campus employment to E2 mixed-use employment for the property identified as Assessor Map 17-03-16-14, Tax Lot 01100.
Second. Just a very quick correction. It is map 17031641.
41, okay.
Thank you. Any discussion from council? Seeing none, I will now take a vote on this motion. Councilors, please lock in your votes in your tablets. And the motion passes 8-0 as the vote. Thank you. That concludes our fifth agenda item. We'll now turn to the city manager to introduce the sixth agenda item.
Thank you. The sixth agenda item is an amendment to a previously adopted ordinance that arose out of recent discussions with our Springfield partners in the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality that results in the need to make a small change to Eugene Code to align the Eugene Code with the Metropolitan Wastewater Management Commission's Model Sewer Use Ordinance, the City of Springfield Code, and Oregon DEQ requirements. I believe we have staff here if you have questions.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Seeing no questions from council, I will turn to the council president to put a motion forward.
Move to adopt the ordinance amending Section 6.552 of the Eugene Code.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion from council? Seeing none, we'll now take a vote for this motion. The motion passes by a vote of 8-0. Thank you. That concludes our sixth agenda item. We'll now turn to the city manager to introduce the seventh agenda item.
Thank you, Mayor. This one's a little bit of a longer explanation. In 2023, the Oregon State Legislature passed House Bill 2009, which requires local governments managing enterprise zones to collaborate with school districts within the zone to establish a school support fee rate. This also requires that businesses authorized for a 5-year abatement pay a percentage of their tax abatement directly to the local school district in years 4 and 5 of their authorization. The City of Eugene is unable to offer 5-year enterprise zone authorizations to qualifying businesses until a support fee percentage is determined. The West Eugene Enterprise Zone includes areas within both the 4J and Bethel school districts. City staff presented the Enterprise Zone school support fee topic to the 4J School Board on October 9th, 2024, and to the Bethel School Board on October 30th, 2024. Both district boards voted unanimously to recommend setting the school support fee at 15%. The enterprise school support fee will have no impact on the city, county, or school district budgets. Regardless of where the fee is set, 4J and Bethel school districts will receive the same overall funding. We have staff here to answer questions.
Thank you, and thank you for that background engagement with the 4J and Bethel school boards. Any questions from council? Seeing none, I will turn to the council president to put a motion forward.
Move to direct the city manager to enter into an agreement with the 4J School District, Bethel School District, and Lane County to establish the enterprise zone school support fee rate of 15% in accordance with ORS 285C.067.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion from council? Seeing none, I will now take a vote for this motion. That motion passes with a vote of 8-0. Thank you. That concludes our 7th agenda item, which brings us to agenda item 8, public comment, the last item on tonight's agenda, the public comment period. The public comment period is an opportunity for individuals to speak to the city council on any city-related issues, except for those items which has already been heard by a hearings official. Staff, can you please share a list and the total numbers of speakers that have signed up to speak at public comment by 7:35 and announce the first speakers?
Thank you, Mayor. We have 13 speakers this evening. I will announce 2 speakers' names at a time. When you are called to speak, please state your name and your ward or neighborhood if known before beginning your comments. If you are announced as the next speaker, please move to the seat in the front row designated for the next speaker. When it is your turn, you may come to the podium. Please leave any bags you may have with you at your seat. If you have documents to give council, please place them in the basket near the podium. You will have 2.5 minutes to speak. The timer will flash red when you have 15 seconds remaining to speak. Your microphone will be muted at the 2.5-minute mark. Please note that use of profanity is prohibited, and any instances of profanity will result in immediate termination of speaking privileges. Our first speakers tonight are Tom Peck, followed by Lynn Woodrich.
Mayor Knutson, councilors, thank you for allowing me to speak. I watched the work session earlier this evening, and I want to commend you for passing the fire safety fee. I thought it was incredible that, the debate and the discussions was very informative, but I'm so glad I heard the passion of many of you saying it has to pass. I felt the same way. There are many people in the neighborhood associations that are in support of this. I'm a co-chair for the Friendly Area Neighborhood Association, and we have been discussing this fee. There's people who are confused. Oh, it's too complex. I can't support it. I think we need to really reach out to the neighborhood associations and educate people as to what's at stake. I think we can get neighborhood association people, activists like myself, to really help support this and let other people know the benefits of passing this, and if we hadn't, what the consequence would be. So I thank you all again. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, Tom. Our next speakers are Lynn Woodrich, followed by Misty Bowman.
My name's Lynn Woodrich. I'm the Active Bethel Community Co-Chair. I've lived in the Bethel area over 30 years. I live in Ward 8. I'm speaking for the Active Bethel Community Board. The ABC General Meeting is coming up on Wednesday, February 19th at the Clear Lake School from 6 to 8 p.m. You're all invited to hear about and tour the site for our upcoming Community Center and Resilience Hub. We're excited that some of our visioning items are happening. Bethel needs a police substation on Highway 99 now. It doesn't need to be fancy. The community safety payroll tax needs to support Bethel too. Funds need to be routed to Bethel. The city hired a downtown incident commander in 2023 to focus on public safety and cleanliness, ensuring appropriate police presence and coordinating resources from across the organization in a rapid response team. Bethel needs this. In Trainsong, the zone verification decision for USD Biofuels trains loading facility has been appealed. Please do what you can to stop it again. And thank you for moving along the public health standards. Closing the gaps in policies to protect people should help to remove any questions about companies locating in inappropriate places, like the following. Here we go again. This must be stopped before approval. I haven't heard that a decision has been made yet. The H&S Energy Group, a limited liability company that has been in business for only 3 months, is asking for an I-3 heavy industrial zone verification dated December 31st to put a bulk plant for motor fuels known as Tank Farm on Kintry Street in the Train Song neighborhood between Highway 99 and Northwest Expressway. It would be a distribution and storage center for gasoline, diesel, and other fuel-related products, and must be stopped. Speaking of limited liability, the threat of unsafe railroads in Train Song is now a reality. The Surface Transportation Board has approved Union Pacific to lease the rail yard to Corp. Less experienced Class 3 non-union employees will be responsible for maintaining and operating the yard and all the hazardous materials traveling through it. The trains transport many dangerous chemicals through these yards every day: phenol, methanol, and more, all with limited liability. Union Pacific is cutting corners and costs at the risk of safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Our next speakers are Misty Bowman, followed by Justin Burns.
Good evening. My name is Misty Bowman. I live in Ward 7. I'm a Dark Sky International advocate, and I'm here to discuss light pollution. I have talked to the City Council at length about the various negatives of excessive artificial light at night, or ALAN, how excessive ALAN costs the city up to $2 million a year, is hazardous to the environment and public health. Let me now talk about how addressing light pollution will bring positives to the city. Oregon is fast becoming a hotbed of astrotourism, or night sky tourism. We have the largest dark sky reserve in the world, the Oregon Outback, with a planned 11 million acres of protected dark skies upon completion. We have 3 of only 130 dark sky parks in the world, 2 dark sky towns, Sisters in Antelope, Oregon, and even a community in Lane County, Blue Rivers, is pressing forward on a dark sky application. All this when many travel agencies are recognizing night sky tourism as one of the hottest new travel trends. The fact of the matter is, people are coming to Oregon and are flying to Eugene already, given we are the closest major airport to many of the sites I have just listed. These astrotourists are not staying here, but they could. If Eugene and Lane County broadly controlled our sky glow, the Willamette National Forest could change. Currently, the night sky in the Willamette National Forest is massively polluted by Lane County. On the best of nights, there is a ghost in the sky called the Milky Way. However, if Eugene followed what much of Oregon is already doing, we could open up a Milky Way that has cast shadows in that forest for thousands of years. Instead of flying to Eugene and immediately leaving, these astrotourists could fly to Eugene and take the 91 bus to see the Milky Way, not to mention people in Eugene as well. Make no mistake about it, this is an opportunity for Eugene to save money and make money. Tonight, I again urge the City Council to revise and enforce the outdoor lighting ordinance to a new ordinance guided by Dark Sky International's 5 principles of responsible outdoor lighting. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Misty. Our next speakers are Justin Burns, followed by Andrew Becker.
Hello, thank you, Mayor and City Council. I just want to say this is the first time I've ever been to a City Council, first time I've ever really been involved in politics. Just want to say I'm really pissed off right now, and I'm really upset about what's going on in the world. The richest man in the world has usurped the power of the president. We have an unelected official in control of very important parts of our government. Elon Musk has access to our Social Security, access to Medicare and Medicaid. He has apparently asked U.S. aid, the Department of Education, FTC. Trump has halted the NIH, which is the National Institute of Health, which will deeply affect cancer research. Trump did away with a law preventing bribes for foreign leaders, I believe just today. Also, J.D. Vance has said that Trump does not need to follow the orders of judges. So pretty soon, we won't even have the rule of law. We're facing a constitutional crisis like no other. This is just the beginning. We have been splintered in 1,000 different causes, and we're being attacked by the oligarchs, along with Trump's MAGA, campaign. We're living in the beginning of a techno-fascist corpo state. I know this sounds really crazy, but basically our journalism is being messed with. Our news channels aren't broadcasting the right kind of information that we want. They're owned by the richest people in the world. I just want to let people know about this and know that you might not be getting the right information on your news. And I implore you to look at different venues or different avenues to find your information. I can mention one internet site right now is The Brutalist, and that has a lot of different news websites that you can look at that have been at more of a verified nature. That'll be all. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Our next speakers are Andrew Becker, followed by David Eigel. Is there an Andrew Becker in the room? Okay, I will call the next speaker and then call Andrew one more time. Our next speaker is David Eigel.
David Eigel, Ward 1. In honor of Black History Month, I'm happy that 1920s Eugene didn't have a violent white supremacist Klan, rather a chapter of the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan Fraternal Order, whose primary social cause was support for prohibition enforcement. The U of O President Scholz's office dishonestly claims to possess irrefutable evidence that proves that Frederick Dunn was the Eugene Exalted Cyclops, chapter chairman of the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan Fraternal Order in the 1920s. Despite repeated requests to see this irrefutable evidence, the President's office has been unable to produce a copy. The reason is that such evidence doesn't exist. I will be sending you an 8-page report which documents beyond any doubt that the story of Dunn being the Exalted Cyclops, literally, which didn't come into existence until 1992, is completely inaccurate. I would ask each of you, or collectively, to contact the President's office to respond and finally to get this matter cleared up. I'm happy also to report that I've been able to, in effect, free the late Frederick Jennings, the rector of St. Mary's Episcopal Church, from being accused of being an active Klan member. I've been able to he was simply like many other leading Eugene citizens. The crooked fraternal order salesmen came in and misrepresented themselves. The residents quickly found out that they'd been duped and they dropped out. Jennings was one of these people. In June of 1923, Jennings was elected to the Eugene School Board, and he later became board chairman. In 1924, a group of Klan members and sympathizers, after gaining control of the hiring committee of the Eugene School Board, arranged to have the Catholic teachers not rehired. Jennings was especially vocal in his opposition to this and made a point of publicly calling out their actions for the public to be aware of what was going on. In other words, it's very clear that Jennings was, if his name was properly on the list to start with, he was simply those in the first few months who had been tricked and beat out of $10, and that was his involvement as a violent white supremacist. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, David. Well, this is one last call for Andrew Becker. Not seeing an Andrew Becker in the room. Our next speakers are Danny Patch, followed by Sandy Goldie. Is there a Danny Patch in the room?
Dan Patch. I want to express to you how extremely sad and disgusted and am for your behavior tonight. Your work session of ramrodding this fire fee through. It's absolutely disappointing to think that the real problem here is the fact that you don't want us to vote to help control the money that we have to pay. That's the bigger issue. It's not about funding the fire department. That's a fear-mongering tool that you used so you could pad your budget. So you could pay for this building that we didn't give you permission to buy. We have a fundamental relationship between the citizens and the council, and you have violated that tonight. You have broken that bond. It is our right, as you brag that you got elected, and then you sit there and act like you have all this empowerment. We didn't elect you to take away our power to vote. That's not why we elected you, and you certainly didn't run on that premise. Because I assure you that if you went up to a citizen in this community and asked them, would you like the city council to take away your right to vote? I think it's pretty well set that they'd say no. And that's what you have violated tonight. And then you burden us with this huge process to counteract that. It's disgusting. You're not responding respectfully to us. You act like somehow your role is to take over for us. And I spoke here last time on this matter. There were over 90 firefighters here, and none of them supported this. The room was full of firefighters. You have mismanaged your budget. You've bought things without our permission, and now you're trying to hide it by using fear, like the fire department, to scare us. You're an embarrassment for a human. You really are, with a few exceptions. But we have a right to vote to control the expenses here. It's that's why we're citizens, and that's why you're the council, and we shouldn't have to look over your shoulder to make sure you're not taking away our rights. We shouldn't have to be constantly monitoring.
Thank you, Danny. Your time is concluded. Our next speakers tonight are Sandy Goldie, followed by Ty Bruce Zimmerman.
Hello, Mayor and council members. This is my first time speaking before you. I moved to Eugene about 2.5 years ago into Riversong Co-housing community in the River Road area. And I heard that you were going to be considering, I know that there are budgetary things coming up and a need to save money, and I heard that you were considering cuts to the Eugene Library. And as a retired teacher, I had a 40-year teaching career, and I've belonged to many libraries. And when I came to Eugene, one of the first things I did was enroll in the library and get my library card. And I have never seen such an amazing library. I'm sorry, it's emotional to me. I saw a cooling room for homeless people to come and be in a safe place where they didn't have to be in the heat in the summer. I could swear I saw dog food being given to a homeless person whose dog was there. And I saw people playing keyboards with headphones on that probably didn't have a keyboard at home and could practice. And the books and other materials are one thing, but all the other things you can check out, like musical instruments and so on. It's just the most class act library I have ever seen in my life. And I know that there have been cuts to the library, and if you're able to keep funding for the library, you'd make an awful lot of people happy. I think it serves every strata of our society. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandy. Our next speakers are Ty Bruce Zimmerman, followed by Amos Heifner.
Good evening. My name is Ty Bruce Zimmerman. I'm from Ward 6. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council, for having me tonight. And thank you for your leadership tonight. We've found ourselves in an incredibly difficult financial position, primarily due to state laws and inflation. And we were in a position with no good choice, and that willingness to make the lesser of bad choices for the betterment of the community, that's leadership, and I appreciate the work that you've done. But what I really want to highlight, and I know I'm going to be preaching to the choir for all of you, is that I want to thank staff for all the work they did in preparing all the materials that you had to work from. because there was a lot of different positions and points that were made, and throughout that conversation, it was a very complex topic, and you had such good materials to work from, going through all of that, and I think it was really nice to see that background, and I know that the entire process of figuring out what to do with the budget has been particularly difficult for staff when many of them have their own jobs, their employees' jobs, their departments potentially on the line with the decisions. So ultimately, that's the shout out I want to give here is for the work staff did to get you to the position where you had the information you needed to make a choice in a very difficult situation. So thank you.
Thank you, Ty. Our next speakers are Amos Heifner, followed by Josh Easterland.
My name is Amos Hefner. I live outside the city limits. I've been working in food service downtown for about 10 years, and I've seen a significant problem arising in the last few years. In 2021 and 2022, I was downtown working for 7 shootings, downrange for 2 of them. I was a bar manager at the time, and the bar managers of downtown organized a group to speak with EPD. We found out that out of the 80 positions the EPD has available to them, only 39 of them are actually staffed. Fridays and Saturday nights, there were no cops on patrol downtown at the time. After that, Officers Rupp and Arbogast, they agreed to, for a time and a half, work those shifts. At that point, there was a drastic decrease in violence downtown. I know of 1 stabbing that was stopped. This is a budgetary issue. In addition to that, in the last 2 years, I've seen 6 restaurants or bars close because of lack of business. Money has to come from somewhere. The Olympic trials this last year. Every time the Olympic trials has happened, in my memory, it's brought a huge swell of people into downtown. They go to restaurants, they go to bars, they spend money. Recently, the U of O has been trying to keep as many people on campus as possible for events, duck games, everything. Matthew Knight Arena has a wide swath of different types of events. We need to find some way to get these people to not just go to campus, because that makes a lot of money go into very few pockets. Otherwise, downtown is going to keep suffering, businesses are going to keep closing, and we are going to keep not surviving. Rent has gone up for people, rent has gone up for businesses, and downtown is prime real estate. I don't have all the answers, but I do know that Phil Knight has currently $33 billion in net worth. I know that the city of Eugene is approximately $75 million in debt as of 2 years ago. We're going to increase that by $12 million this next year, apparently. We need to find some way to tax certain people. Thank you.
Thank you, Amos. Our next speakers are Josh Easterland, followed by Sarah Boom.
Hello, City Councilors. Nice to see you. I hate public speaking, but I'm going to try to work through it. I'm the Director of Equitable Access Eugene. I've spoken to you one other time, or a couple times maybe now, and I came again to advocate for what our mission is, which is working to decriminalize the ability to grow, gather, and gift psychedelic plants within the city limits here of Eugene. And, I've reached out and met with some of you, and I'd love to meet with all of you and have some conversations about these things. So I figured I'd start by maybe explaining why decriminalizing and what the difference between decriminalizing is versus legalizing. And so, legalizing is something that is done at much higher levels, but decriminalization at the city level can be done by saying that we as a city are going to not devote, police funds towards the investigation, prosecution, detention, arrest of people for these crimes, thereby alleviating the fear that people live under when they want to access these healing modalities. There is evidence coming out in the research community about the benefits for people with their mental health, and treating things like addiction and a lot of problems that we have here at the city level. But the problem is that people, you either have to spend, thousands of dollars to access the legalized psilocybin services that we have available, or people can break the law to try and grow their own plants and substances to, work on healing themselves in their communities. And so by decriminalizing, we're going to be lifting that fear, from people to access these and kind of make it a more community-based thing. I did give a copy of How to Change Your Mind to several of you, and there was concern brought up that maybe, you're too busy to read book, like the whole book, you've got a whole thing going on. But there's also a Netflix series for How to Change Your Mind that's maybe more accessible and readily available. And I'll look forward to talking to you guys next time. Thanks.
Thank you, Josh. Our next speakers are Sarah Boom, followed by Rich Locke.
Greetings, City Council. My name is Sarah Boom, and I am a resident of Ward 7. I am transgender, and I vote. Eugene is known among transgender people as having an unusually large transgender population, and they vote too. The Trump administration has declared war on transgender people. He has issued executive orders which demand we be banned from the military, that transgender people under 19 not receive life-saving, gender-affirming medical care, and most critically, defining a woman as an person with eggs at time of conception. It should be noted no one has eggs or sperm at the time of conception, but the words "at conception" reflect their sexist views on abortion. Republicans see women as only being useful for giving birth, and my inability to do that means they do not see me as a woman. Abortion bans and trans bans reflect this attitude. Woman, to me, means a social class, a way of living a life. Despite being around half of the population, women are still treated as second-class citizens in America. These sexist policies are enforced at the local level by local law enforcement. I'm asking you again not to empower the police to harm women and minorities. End homeless sweeps that disproportionately target LGBT people. Fund the library so LGBT kids have a safe place to go. Work with LGBT organizations like Transponder and HIV Alliance to help keep trans people safe. Participate in Trans Day of Remembrance to help us mourn our dead, and Trans Day of Visibility to fight for the living. Stand up for trans rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Our next and final speaker is Rich Locke.
Good evening. My name is Rich Locke. I'm actually a business owner in Ward 7 now. And I wanted to come in to see the new City Hall. I haven't testified here yet. And I wanted to introduce myself to the mayor. It's nice to meet you. I've met you one time before at my son's final project at in the architect class. I want to start out by just saying I was disappointed in the vote this evening. I was contacted by a good friend, and he here a week or so ago about this fee that was coming up, and it just reminds me of the old days of the toxic right-to-know fees that were put in here, and thrusted upon businesses that had the right SIC code and with no say, even though we're not what's the right term for it? We don't have we're not producing any toxic waste. We still have to pay the fee, and we can't be on the board or apply for the boards because we're in the program. But anyway, but I was disappointed because I do believe, like a couple people have testified to, that the voters, it should be brought to a vote, and I think the right amendment was put out there, but yet we have a council that is not going to see that the voters get their opportunity. So I guess the voters are just going to have to go out and get the signatures to do it, and it kind of reminds me of the natural gas deal we went through a year or so ago. But I did want to say that there is quite a few fees. I pay the toxic right to know, the safety payroll tax, and now we'll be looking at the fire fee, which don't call it a tax because you can institute a fee. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Mayor, that was our final speaker.
Thank you. I will now close the public comment period. Thank you to everyone who gave comment this evening. Any comments from the City Council? Seeing none. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm looking for waving instead of screens. Councilor Keating.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate the wide array of opinions expressed this evening. I appreciate folks taking the time, whether you're keeping score at home or you are in person participating. Thank you for your testimony. There's one person I want to signal my deepest appreciation tonight, and she provided the second to last testimony this evening, Sarah. Though you were second to last tonight, you were among the most powerful and brave persons to come and to speak and provide testimony in my time as Eugene City Councilor. You have my deepest appreciation, and I stand in solidarity and full support. And I would add, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Any other comments from council? Right. Well, with that, then I will close the February 10th, 2025 City Council meeting, and we are adjourned.